Hi Bluebird friends, it's Mrs. B and I have another drawing project for us to do today. Today we're going to be looking at plants. We're going to be looking at succulents. And I even have a succulent right here. This is an aloe vera plant and that is a succulent. So we're going to learn a little bit more about them and we're going to learn how to draw some. So let's get started.
Succulents are plants that store water in their leaves or stems. They have thick, fleshy stems or leaves. Some succulents, such as cacti, have no leaves, so they store all of their water in their big stem. Because they can store all this water, they can live in very dry, rocky places like deserts. Certain plants have thorns or spines to discourage animals from eating them. South Africa has the most succulent plants, but cacti are mostly found in North and South America. Alright, so now that we've learned a little bit about their succulents, let's get started. First thing we need to draw is the pot for them to go in. So we're going to start with a curve just like this, and we're going to round out our bottom of our pot like a big U and connect it here. So here is the pot. We're going to put some designs in here because we're going to make a nice contrast later with our colors. So I'm just going through and adding some different Zentangle patterns in here. You can add whatever you like. I'm going to put some lines over here on this side, maybe fill it in with some circles. And then here in the middle, I'm going to do a combo. I'm going to do some lines and some of these scales like I did on the other side to tie this all in together. Now you can do whatever you like. You do not have to draw your pot just like mine. Make it your own. This is your artwork. So here at the top, we're going to start filling in with our succulent plants. So we're going to start with a small one first that actually doesn't have any needles or spines on it. This one has a nice smooth side. So we're just going to make these teardrop shapes and overlap them. I'm going to put a small cactus right here in between, and I'm going to do another small succulent right next to it, just like the one on the other side, to balance out my planter here. So I'm making these teardrop shapes and I'm just overlapping them just like that. Now let's put some big cacti here in the back. So all we're going to do is a big tall oval. So we're going to put 3 of these back here. I'm going to put the one in the middle a little bit taller, and then I'm going to round out the bottom here since I can kind of see the bottom. That little plant is not covering it, so we want to make sure we put our lines there. So in the middle of our cactus, I'm going to put some curved vertical lines in these 2 on the side. And then I'm going to make my spines by just making little X's on the lines here, just like this. I'm going to do this on the sides too, that way I have that pokey texture. And I'm balancing it out, just like my one on the other side. And then we're going to do something different with our cacti here in the middle. We're actually going to give it some smaller leaves coming off the top here. I'm going to put about 3 on this side and just 2 on that side. Now for my spikes on this cacti, I'm just going to put little diagonal lines all over it instead of doing little X's, because this is a different type of succulent. So now on these ones, the last thing I'm going to add is a little flower, because sometimes cacti have these really pretty pink and purple flowers that bud off the top of them. So I'm going to add those in there to add some nice color. And I overlapped on my cactus here, so it's okay. I'm just going to erase so I don't see that when I go to color it in later. Alright, now we learned that cacti like to live in dry, rocky deserts. So for the dirt, we're going to fill in some rocks. So I'm just taking my pencil and I'm just putting small little circles and filling in all around the bottom of my succulents here. And it doesn't matter, they don't have to be perfect circles. We're just filling it in here to make it look nice and rocky for our succulents. Now, last thing to add here is our table line. Remember, we start here on the side, stop at the planter, pick it up, and finish it there. And there we go. Now we're going to outline with a black marker. I'm using a Sharpie, but if you can't find a Sharpie, any black marker will do. I'm going over all of my pencil marks, every single one. I went over the table line, over all my lines in the planter, and even all of my succulents. This is really going to help make it stand out when we add our color to it. Now I'm even going to outline all of these little rocks in here too. Last thing I'm going to do with my black marker, like I said, we want to make a nice contrast between our succulents and our planter that they're in. So I'm using my black marker to just make my planter black and white. So however you designed your planter, wherever you want to put your black spaces in there, fill that in before we get done. And it's your artwork, so any way you want to do it is perfect. When you get done with that, of course, make sure that you erase any pencil that's poking through. Alright, so we're going to color our succulents now. We're just going to use regular crowns. I'm going to pick out a dark green, a yellow, and a light green. So there's a reason why I'm going to use these. I'm going to use my yellow first, and I'm going to just put my yellow in the center of my cacti here on the side. Just like that. Now I'm taking this light green and I'm blending in the bottom and the top. I want to overlap so I have a nice gradient and a nice transition between my colors to give our succulents a little bit more depth instead of just coloring them all one color. So I'm going to do this on both of these cacti here. Now that I've got those done, I'm going to take this light green and I'm going to do the same thing for my cactus in the middle. I'm going to use the light green in the middle part of my cactus and on all of the leaves, just like this. And now I'm going to use my dark green. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to blend in the top and the bottom on each part here, and I'm going to go over the top of my light green so I have a nice blend. I'm blending these together. Now I'm putting a little bit of pressure here on my crowns because I want to make sure that I'm getting them nice and solid, and I don't want any white poking through my color here. I'm going to do this on all of my little leaves too. Alright, now I've got that all done, I'm going to use my dark green and I'm going to just make a dark green outline on my smooth succulents here. And I'm going to leave this middle here open so that I can color it in with my other green in just a minute. I'm going to do this on both sides here. There we go, I'm taking my light green and we're going to fill in the middles here, and I'm overlapping that dark green just a little bit so that we got that nice transition, and it makes it look like the light is shining off of our succulents. Yeah. Now to add a little bit of color here, I'm actually going to switch this up and I'm going to pull out some pinks and purples, and I'm going to do the same thing with our blending. I'm going to use this light purple and go right across the middle and take my dark purple and blend it in the top and the bottom. So I'm adding just a little bit more interest to my succulent plant here. Now I'm going to use this light purple and this pink to add the color to my flowers coming off of my cacti here. And if you want to use some different colors, that's fine too, whichever colors you like. There you go. Now we've got to do the gravel, rocky dirt that our succulents are planted in. So I pulled out a brown and a gray, and I'm using my gray to kind of just go in and fill in all of my little circles for my rocks. And it's okay if it's not quite perfect, because after that we're going to take our brown and we're going to fill in any white spaces that are poking through there. So we're going to blend this brown in with that gray. So like I said, it's okay if the gray is not perfect. Now, the last thing we need to do is that we need to get this table and our background done. So I'm going to use this brown and color in my whole table here. And now because we've been working on blending, I'm going to grab a darker brown and blend that in here with my lighter brown. If you just want to use one brown, that's fine too. Now for the very last part, the top here, I'm going to use this light blue and color the whole background the best I can. If you want to use a different color for your background, that is more than okay. I just decided to go with blue for mine. Now we're working on blending, so I'm taking a darker blue now and blending over the whole top of my background here too. Just kind of going back over and filling in any white that is poking through. And once you have that done, there we go. That's our succulent plants.
Good job, guys. We did it. We made our succulent pot. I really like the contrast in how that came out with the black and white pot and our succulents up here. So we learned a lot about them. Those are some pretty cool plants. So remember, share with me on Facebook your guys' finished succulents. Until next time, it's a great day to be a bluebird. Bye.